Tonight, we're looking at something massive unfolding on the streets of America. It's a protest movement of historic scale, and it's all being fueled by just two incredibly powerful words. And you have to understand, this is happening everywhere. We're seeing a huge wave of demonstrations just sweeping across the country. In New York City, for instance, thousands have completely flooded Washington Square Park. And then in Washington, D.C., you've got crowds right at the steps of the Capitol, even the Supreme Court. They're bringing this protest right to the heart of the nation's government. And it goes all the way to the West Coast. Marches in Los Angeles are actually shutting down major freeways. This is, without a doubt, a truly nationwide movement. So what is it that's uniting all these different people from coast to coast? Well, it's this simple two-word chant you hear everywhere: no kings. And that slogan, it reaches all the way back to the very founding of the American Republic, its rejection of a monarchy. And now, today, it's become the banner for this entire movement. Just to give you a sense of how big this really is, look at this number. On a single day, an estimated 4 to 6 million people took to the streets. I mean, that is staggering. It makes this one of the largest single-day protests in recent American history. And this wasn't just packed into the big coastal cities either. No, this movement was incredibly widespread. We're talking about roughly 2,600 separate demonstrations taking place in all 50 states. So what is it that's actually driving millions of people to do this? Well, let's hear from someone on the ground. This is a protester in New York, Sarah Chen. She put it this way: "We are here to defend the idea that power is not absolute and does not belong to a single man. The Constitution is not a suggestion." So for so many people, this is really about defending core principles they feel are being threatened. So let's break down the specific issues that are fueling this. It's really a broad mix of concerns. Everything from what protesters see as a slide toward authoritarianism, the use of federal troops in cities, to actions they believe are challenging the entire system of checks and balances. And that phrase, checks and balances, you hear it a lot, but it is absolutely key to all of this. What is it? Well, it's the basic idea that the branches of government, the executive, legislative, and judicial, they're designed to limit each other. It's all about making sure no single person or group can become too powerful. It's the very system designed to prevent what that no king slogan is all about. And this gets to the deep, deep division at the heart of this whole conflict. You have two completely different stories being told. On one side, protesters see themselves as defending democracy itself. On the other side, the government is framing this as the work of radical elements, something that requires a strong response to restore order and protect national security. So, to try and get a more objective look at what's happening, let's turn to an expert. Professor Helena Ribeiro is a political scientist at UC Berkeley, and she's been studying this movement very closely. Professor Ribeiro offers a really sharp insight into why that No Kings slogan is so effective. She says, by invoking the foundation of the Republic, protesters elevate the dispute beyond partisan politics. And here's the key part. They are saying the system itself, not just who governs it, is at stake. So in other words, that slogan turns this from just another political fight into a fundamental debate about the very nature of American government. So the big question is, where does this all go from here? There are 4 major things to watch. First, it puts intense pressure on the government to react somehow. Second, it's creating brand new networks for activists. Third, it really risks making political divisions even worse. And finally, and maybe most importantly, it forces a huge national debate right out into the open. What are the actual limits of presidential power? And in the end, everything we're seeing, it all boils down to this one profound, central question that's really at the heart of the whole crisis. In a test of power between the executive and the people, who really is the final arbiter of American sovereignty? Right now, that question isn't being answered in the halls of government. It's being answered on the streets of the nation.